All right, guys. Thanks for coming back. Not like you had really much anywhere else to go. Anyway, it's not like we're on the radio. Get it together, Andrew. Anyway, Cody, we have seen a lot of talk about this Deshaun Watson thing has been nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's been nuts, man. He hasn't officially said he wants to be traded.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole lot of teams that are trying to make a trade to get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
A team that we follow very closely and that we talk about all the time here on the podcast is the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And especially after the tweet today, because we're recording this Wednesday, Inauguration Day, yada, yada, yada. Carr posted something on Instagram. It looked like a bulletproof vest. Turns out it was a weight training vest, but it had an American flag and it was,
in camo. So it was a little bit signals.
Yes. So a lot of people were like, we need to trade him now. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all how I feel about it, whatnot. But especially after that, a lot of Raider Nation fans are talking, let's trade for Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Derek Carr. I don't think anyone ever has questioned that. And I said it, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago. I think Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback. I don't think that's not a debate.
Mm-hmm.
But my argument has been simply this: we don't need a quarterback. We have a good quarterback. We have a guy who can take us to the promised land if we have a full team. And it's been our defense that has killed us. Has absolutely killed us, Cody. And so that's my argument.
Mm-hmm.
But in all seriousness, I mean, that is serious, but Cody, what do you feel like? Do you feel like the Raiders should possibly make a trade for Deshaun Watson, or do you think we need to do some other things?
I feel like if we were to waste our time with trying to trade for Deshaun Watson, it would be an absolute middle finger to Raider Nation and to be blind to what is clearly what we need, and that's defense.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to advocate that Derek Carr is the quarterback I want forevermore, because if honestly, if there was no sort of exchange of assets that we would need to do, in other words, trade for him. Let's say if it was just signing Deshaun Watson, we're not giving up anything, but we get to upgrade the quarterback position over Derek Carr. Yeah, I would choose Deshaun Watson over Derek Carr. I don't think there's any question. There's a reason why Deshaun Watson was drafted higher than Derek Carr. I don't think anyone is dumb enough to claim that. However, I don't think that Derek Carr was necessarily the problem with the Raiders this season. Granted, did he make some mistakes? Sure. I mean, he did what every quarterback would do. But at the end of the day, clearly it was the defense. I mean, defense. Why are we going to give up valuable assets for a player we already have and not address the things that we need to do? Like, how about we look at figuring out how to get CJ Mosley from the Jets? An all-pro linebacker who elevates a defense. We need a linebacker. We need a linebacker that is intelligent, stops the run. We need some cornerbacks that don't give up big plays. We need a front four. We need some defensive ends. We need so much more than a quarterback. And now if we're going to I will say this, if we were to trade Derek Carr and some assets to get back some players, defensive players that makes us better, and we're going to do like a bridge quarterback deal with Marcus Mariota, I would hate that decision, but I'd understand it. That's one thing I would be like, you know what? I get it. Like, we have the assets to do it. We improve the defense. Our offense remains the same. Mariota is a decent quarterback. I think it's a wash between him and Carr. But for the most part, I'd understand that. I would not understand why you would get Deshaun Watson over defensive needs. And I don't know if the Raiders are going to address it in free agency. I don't know if they'll do it in the draft. I just think that this is a distraction for the Raiders if they even entertain this. I mean, I'm sure they're doing their due diligence. I mean, what team wouldn't do it? But to even entertain this seriously, to even make this decision would be, like I mentioned, like a middle finger to Raider Nation of what our obvious needs are. Clearly, I mean, we fired our defensive coordinator, 2/3 into the season because we had an apparent problem. We lost games to teams that we should have beaten because of our defense. So, I mean, that's how it is, in my opinion, for the Raiders. I hope that we don't cut our nose off to spite our face, but that Deshaun Watson is not what we need. That's the bottom line for me.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what you said here. We fired our defensive coordinator. We fired our defensive coordinator for a quarterback? Like,
yeah.
Okay, those two don't come into contact at all. Like, if this was a COVID thing, those are 16 feet apart. I mean, it's not even 6 feet apart. They're not even close to each other. So yeah, I like Derek Carr. I think he's fine. I don't see. When I say fine, it sounds like he's bad. He's good. He's a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
As much as yes, I would love to have a Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson doesn't make this team much better. I mean, maybe we're 9-7 instead of 8-8. Maybe. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's worth it. And exactly what you're saying, like, we're going to give up a lot. We have to get the Texans want draft picks. That's the issue. If they just wanted quarterback for quarterback, yes, we would do that in a heartbeat. But it's not quarterback for a quarterback. It's a quarterback, and they're going to want some draft picks. And then we'd probably also give them Carr, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only are we losing Carr, who knows the offense in and out, and getting Deshaun Watson, who would have to learn the offense. And there has been multiple people who say John Gruden's offense is not the easiest to. It took 3 years for Derek Carr to look like he knew this offense in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it took him 3 years, and he was healthy all 3 years. It's not like he was missing games or he, was out for a full year. He was there in all these games, and it took him 3 years. And if you're a Derek Carr hater, you can be like, well, that's why we need to get rid of him, blah, blah, blah. No, there's been multiple quarterbacks who have said that John Gruden's offense is pretty difficult to understand, and you're not going to get it the first year. So you having Deshaun Watson come in actually might make the Raiders take a step back. He might make some amazing plays where we'd be like, wow, Derek Carr wouldn't have made that, but it won't make a difference on the record. And that is the issue. We're a good team. We're good on offense. If Henry Ruggs can step up and play a little bit better, and actually be on the field, that he is scary. I mean, we saw what he could do against the Chiefs. I mean, he was ridiculous. Josh Jacobs, when the passing game is really going, he turns into another level. I think I like Ingold in the offense. I think he works really well. Waller, he's a freaking beast. I mean, some might argue he's at least top. I mean, he's definitely top 3. He might be top 2 tight end in the game right now. Obviously with Kittle being out, he definitely was number 2 this year for sure, because Kelsey was still really good. But anyway, and then Nelson Aguilar, who couldn't even be on the roster on the Eagles. That's the other thing, is Derek Carr turned Nelson Aguilar, who was a joke in Philadelphia. There's literally a meme about Nelson Aguilar because there were some burning babies in an apartment and they were catching them, unlike Aguilar. I mean, there's literally a meme about this guy in Philadelphia, and he goes to Las Vegas where no one had expectations for Aguilar at all. And he not only led the team in receiving, was it receiving yards? Now I'm blanking.
No. He led him in touchdowns.
Touchdowns. Sorry, he led them in receiving touchdowns. The guy, he just all of a sudden had a resurgence. It's crazy to me that people think that Carr is a problem when you have guys like Darren Waller, who was on Baltimore, who could barely make the roster. Then he goes to Las Vegas and starts thriving there with Derek Carr. you can make a case. Well, Henry Ruggs. Well, Ruggs was injured a lot this year. He really didn't play a lot, so it was kind of hard for Carr and him to really have a good connection. Hunter Renfrow, this guy, yeah, he played with Deshaun Watson. He wasn't even a big part of the offense, but they liked him because they knew that was a guy that Carr could really go to and trust. So Carr is not the issue. It has exactly what you said. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. He's made some dumb mistakes. Every quarterback has. Aaron Rodgers made mistakes. Patrick Mahomes has made mistakes. Tom Brady. Every quarterback makes mistakes throughout the year. It's not why we were 8-8. The reason we were 8-8 is because our defense completely collapsed the last 6-7 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were 6-3. We lost 5 out of our next 8 games after that. That's ridiculous.